What's up, ladies and gents? It's been quite a week. I've been a bit ill. Thanks for sticking with me. But since the robots won't rest, neither shall we. Wanted to talk to you today about the illusion of control, essentially how AI is reshaping work in ways we actually never consented to. Think about it. The developer who writes the code that ultimately replaces her, the lawyer who deploys an AI that fabricates legal citations in court, even the CEO who admits that his company has no freaking clue how its own technology functions. What do you think connects all these scenarios reported in just the last week? It's a profound and growing truth about our relationship with artificial intelligence. The systems we designed to serve humanity are increasingly operating way beyond our meaningful control. Now, 3 developments reported in May, just last week, laid bare this uncomfortable reality, forcing us to confront some fundamental questions about human agency in an age of algorithmic decision-making, and actually the future of work itself. We touched on the future of work a couple of sessions ago. But on May 15th, TechCrunch reported that Microsoft's recent layoffs disproportionately affected programmers in its home state. As the company now relies on AI to generate up to 30% of its code base, this is serious. These developers confront a particularly cruel irony. They built the very tools that have now rendered their own specialized skills economically redundant, like Bugs Bunny sawing the limb of the tree on the wrong side. Unlike previous waves of automation that mainly affected manual labor, this transformation targets the cognitive work long considered safe or immune to technological displacement. And that same day, we saw a striking demonstration of AI operating beyond human oversight. According to TechCrunch, Anthropic's lawyers were forced to apologize to a federal court after their AI assistant, Claude, hallucinated a legal citation in a copyright lawsuit against music publishers. Now, a lawyer representing Anthropic fully admitted that Claude created a citation with fabricated authors and titles, which basically their manual review process completely missed. And the system operated with such convincing authority that even legal professionals couldn't identify its fabricants and fabrications. And these incidents become even more significant when you look at how their very CEO of Anthropic, Dario Amodei, published his recent essay, reported by TechCrunch on April 24th. Amodei actually acknowledged the profound lack of understanding that researchers have about their own AI systems and how they operate, setting a goal to reliably detect most AI model problems by 2027. He actually said, "I'm very concerned about deploying such systems without a better handle on interpretability." And he called it basically unacceptable for humanity to be totally ignorant of how they work. Now, when even the creators admit that they don't fully understand their creations, what hope do users have? Now, these developments all come together. They converge to raise a fundamental philosophical question. Are we still in control of our technological future? Or have we created systems that increasingly determine the shape of human society while operating beyond meaningful human direction? Philosopher Langdon Winner's concept of technological autonomy is a great framework for understanding this changing balance of power. In his work, Autonomous Technology, it's a great piece, Winner argues that modern technological systems usually develop a kind of autonomy, not consciousness, but a sort of self-reinforcing momentum that increasingly dictates human choices rather than serving them. Microsoft replacing programmers is a great example of this autonomy. The AI coding system, once deployed, creates incentives for further automation that diminish human control over the development process itself. Now, Heidegger, in the question concerning technology, and I reference that a lot here just because Right? It was amazing. Offers another lens that we can see this current system. Heidegger actually argued that modern technology shows the world and reveals the world, including humanity itself, as a sort of standing reserve, resources that will be optimized and exploited. Microsoft programmers actually experienced this transformation firsthand as their cognitive labor now becomes a resource to be analyzed, extracted, and ultimately replaced by algorithmic processes. They shift from being creators of technology to resources consumed by it. Now, Hannah Arendt's distinctions between labor, work, and action are also pretty relevant as AI reshapes the landscape of human occupation. In her piece, The Human Condition, Arendt actually sees work as the activity through which humans create durable artifacts that transcend individual mortality. Now, unlike animal labor that really just keeps a sort of biological existence, work creates a human world that provides stability and meaning. When AI systems displace human workers, they don't just eliminate jobs, they transform the fundamental relationship between human creativity and the world in which we live. The hallucinated legal citation shows another dimension of our loss of control. Anthropic's lawyer trusted Claude to generate accurate citations, delegating a fairly basic function of legal expertise to an AI. This sort of represents what philosopher James Feiblman called the law of levels. Basically, higher-level human activities often depend on the reliable functioning of lower-level systems. Now, when those lower-level systems fail in unpredictable ways, the whole structure of professional knowledge becomes unstable. For business leaders and investors, these developments show us that we have to really reconsider our relationship between technological efficiency and human judgment. The lawyer who relied on Claude faced professional embarrassment, but similar AI failures in medical diagnoses, financial systems, or infrastructure design could have catastrophic consequences. Companies need to ask a fundamental question. How do you balance the efficiency gains of AI adoption with the risks of deploying systems whose operations we still cannot fully understand, or worse still, control? So the displacement of these programmers at Microsoft raises really profound questions about the future of work. Now, unlike previous tech revolutions that created new forms of employment as they eliminated others, AI potentially transforms the nature of creative and cognitive work itself. When machines can generate code, can write legal briefs, create art, diagnose illnesses, what domain of meaningful human work remain exclusively human? And I think this goes beyond economics to actually touch on the foundations of human meaning and purpose. Amodei's call for interpretability acknowledges a growing crisis of control in AI development. His goal of understanding AI systems by 2027 implicitly admits that current deployments will continue without this understanding, creating a sort of philosophical contradiction between our scientific caution in other domains and our recklessness with artificial intelligence. Would we deploy like nuclear reactors while admitting fundamental ignorance about how they function? Yet, we still routinely deploy AI systems in critical domains despite really acknowledging a similar level of ignorance. This technological trajectory challenges our core assumptions about human agency and control. Jacques Ellul, French philosopher Jacques Ellul, warned of what he calls technique, the totality of methods rationally developed to achieve absolute efficiency in every field of human activity. For Ellul, technique develops according to its own logic, increasingly determining human possibilities rather than serving human intentions. When Microsoft switches out programmers for AI coding systems, when lawyers give citation checking to algorithms, when AI researchers actually admit They have no clue what's going on in their models. I think we're watching Ellul's warnings materialized. And so I think the question that we're looking at here goes beyond technical considerations and touches on the foundations of human agency and meaningful work, as AI systems increasingly operate beyond meaningful human control, determining who works, how they work, and whether human work remains economically valuable. We're looking at profound choices about the kind of society we wish to create. Are we going to develop mechanisms to ensure these systems remain under substantive human direction? Or are we just going to surrender human agency to technological processes that reshape society according to their own logic? For business leaders, these philosophical questions are basic practical imperatives. Companies need to develop frameworks for AI adoption that preserve meaningful human control, that looks after us, particularly in high-stakes domains. This means putting in really strong oversight mechanisms, making sure we're transparent about our AI operations, and maintaining human judgment as the final arbiter in consequential decisions. It also means approaching workforce transformation with ethical foresight, developing strategies that enhance human capabilities rather than just replace them. And for policymakers, the challenge involves creating regulatory systems and frameworks that are adequate enough to technologies that operate beyond traditional human control. When AI systems hallucinate legal citations that fool even experienced lawyers, when they displace skilled workers and programmers, when their creators admit fundamental ignorance about their operations, the traditional approaches that we have to regulation might just be kind of inadequate. Now, new governance mechanisms must address not just the products of AI, but the processes through which AI reshapes society itself. I'm Michael Koenka. As artificial intelligence extends its reach across every domain of human work and expertise, we're confronted with a profound truth. We've created these insanely awesome, huge systems that are increasingly determining human possibility while operating beyond meaningful human control. The hallucinated legal citation, the displaced programmers, and the ignorance of AI creators show us different sides of this shifting balance of power. So the philosophical challenge before us is not just to create better AI, but to make sure that our technological future remains genuinely human. Thanks for listening. Join me next week as we look into even more nuances about the agency-human relationship and dynamics of AI's influence in our lives. But until then, have an amazing day, an even better week, and I'll see you soon.